Alright, let's talk a bit about the Trumna Prime. It came with Xaku Prime. This one was already a pretty interesting weapon. It's an Entrati weapon, so it has that signature mechanic of when you kill enemies with it, you're gonna get charges that will allow you to use a secondary fire. That being a bouncing ball of death, pretty much. Compared to the normal Trumna, we have increased magazine, increased, or actually decreased reload time, or you reload faster. More critical damage, more status chance, more impact damage on the primary fire, and more heat damage on the secondary fire. So, let's talk about builds, some synergies, some problems, Rivens, and that's kind of how it goes. Looking at the stats, you can see there's something off, and when we're talking about a build usually made for performance, this is what you would usually see. The weapon doesn't have the fastest of the fire rate, so adding a vial acceleration is good. You need to put some critical because the critical is decent. Point strike doesn't feel as good as critical delay. You're gonna get up to 60%, but then, oh, I'm gonna use critical delay, the fire rate, we have vial acceleration to cover that. For the rest, you usually drop the serration for a Bane of Grenier or something like that. Hammer shot feels like the intruder here, but between Rifle Elementalist and Hammer shot, they feel actually pretty close, so I'm keeping Hammer shot. For the rest, it's that adding a heat mod just because we don't really have a heat damage on the direct hit of the secondary fire. Also, increasing heat damage is never a bad thing. Also for the primary fire, so it's always good. For the rest, the galvanized, if I'm wrong, the CO is multiplicative, but remember that for both the primary and secondary, this would mean only the direct impact that would actually trigger the multiplicative effect because explosions AoEs don't really trigger condition overload, don't really use it. So that's kind of how it goes. But if you haven't noticed the problem of this weapon yet, now it is the time to see. These are 225 Gokstead officers. They have a lot of health, but still, it feels like the base damage is really effed. So starting without any base damage mods, it's gonna feel like a pain if you're going on Steel Path or higher levels. But it's really only the start. As you can see, as the heat stacks build up, the damage really also gets there. It's just a bit of a struggle to start. And also to get the stacks. Damn, I'm not getting the head stacks. The reload still has that awesome sound effect, which I think is one of the coolest things about this weapon. And now as we get the stacks, it gets much better. Okay, I just want to get the 3 stacks. That's it. Let's call them again to use the secondary because the secondary is just deadly. There we have them. There we go. Feels pretty good. Feels pretty good. Other than that, I've been trying stuff like Blast. I've tried... what's it called? Tried electricity, tried gas. Everything feels pretty decent, pretty close. Even the blast, the thing about blast is that the start is pretty rough because, you know, base damage isn't there. That's kind of how the struggle starts, but it gets better. There we go. Do we have anyone? Oh yeah. There we go. One more. And bam. Everyone dies. Pretty good. Only one guy left. But let's talk about another build then. Viral Heat kind of made this up for like on every faction build, because I know there's a lot of people that don't really enjoy running Banes, and also the base damage on this one doesn't feel as good. So this was an attempt to fix that. This is probably what I would run on a daily basis without really worrying about too much stuff. And I'm just gonna talk in a bit about the whys and yeah. Okay. 3 stacks. It doesn't feel like it's that far behind from the other ones. Of course, it's not the peak damage, peak performance, but it's still pretty decent. Still pretty good. And we'll probably just be able to deal with your daily content. I think this would be it. Now, oh, you're not using the galvanized, you're not using the, you know, you're not using the Bane. For the galvanized, it's aptitude exclusively. If you're not really gonna have a primer or something to prime, let's say a sentinel, then you might not want to run it, because yeah, if you're not applying it, you're not really gonna be using it, so what's the point? Now, for the Bane, as I said, some people don't like running Bane, so I run Rifle Elementalist. That's kind of it. Yeah, I would say this one is for the daily basis. A Riven. Now a Riven. Do you need a Riven? If you love the weapon and you want to min-max it, then a Riven would be really good. But I don't really advise you to buy one right now, because they're going really expensive right now. What do I mean with the min-maxing? The dispo sucks. So really, if you wanna really the min-max, before with the normal Trumna, my dispo was just a little bit better, so I was getting like the 100% critical chance, so it felt a lot better. Another great argument for a Riven would be elemental combo, since the dispo was so low. An elemental combo making, let's say, the viral would be great. Even if I were to use semi-leveled or unleveled viral mods, let's say unleveled Malignant Force and unleveled Rhyme Rounds, that would be good, because that would mean that my innate heat would have a better priority on the proccing list than the viral, because, you know, after 10 stacks of viral, you pretty much don't get anything extra. As for the heat, it stacks not really indefinitely, but you know, the heat stack cap, it's pretty high, and you're probably not gonna reach it with the Trumna. So yeah, it would be just better to have the heat above the viral. I just feel like if I were to use it here, it would feel like a waste, because 2 slots, 2 unleveled mods, and also my status chance would drop considerably. I could then use Hammer Shot, but I already don't have the Bane, so it feels bad. You know, that's just to sum it up, it feels bad. Now let's get on to Synergies. This one I called in 2021. I called, I think, 2 Synergies with the weapon specifically in 2021. This was one of them, which is Zara's Whisper. Just to start, Zara's Whisper feels great. You kill so much faster. So much faster. But the best thing about it is that it allows you a chance to get your charges back. That's been a thing for a long time now. It is a chance. It's not perfect. It's not every time. But at least you have a chance of getting your charges back with the secondary fire. That's just feels good. There we go. The other synergy that I called up back in the day, unfortunately, has been nerfed. And not only this has been nerfed, but I think that the whole synergies with the frame have been nerfed. That you could just make this loop with Tornado, but unfortunately, that has been nerfed. And I'm not sure if it really went for every weapon, but for the Trumna, it's not going anymore. Even using Zara's Whisper, which was another one of my hopes, it doesn't really trigger it anymore. Back in the day, you could get the charges, use the secondary fire, and for every kill, you would get a charge back. And then you just could keep in that loop. But unfortunately, that is gone. Another combo is with Saren. A gun buff Saren. This will kinda work. Okay, you need to get your kills. After you get your kills, you can use the secondary fire. But here, it feels even trickier than with the Zara's Whisper. Because what has to kill the enemies here is the proc from Toxic Lash. Because it's another source, it's another proc. It is still a proc coming because of the weapon, but since it's not really the direct damage nor a proc from the secondary fire, not considered a proc from the secondary fire, will give you the charges back, but it feels even more inconsistent. But to be honest, now that I haven't tried this before with viral, it's feeling a lot more consistent with viral than it did with other combos, other elements on the weapon. This is actually feeling good, much better. Yeah. Okay, now not as lucky. Yeah. But it's still another chance, you know. Maybe if you mix Saren and Zara's, that might just be great. Might just work out. But yeah, still inconsistent. I think the Zara's Whisper works the same way for getting the charges back, because it's a second instance of damage. It's not really considered to be a kill from the secondary fire of the Trumna, so that might just be what gives the charges back. So yeah, for now, that's what I really have for synergies. There might be more. I need to try some more stuff. But I think we got a really good weapon. Very interesting, very good. But yeah, that's it. Leave it a like, subscribe, leave in the comments what you think about the weapon and what are you using, and if you have another synergy that's not listed here. And peace.
Till next time, friend.